Yuki Tsukumo is a character in the Jujutsu Kaisen series. She is one of only 4 special-grade jujutsu sorcerers. Yuki is not aligned with Jujutsu High, so her reputation paints her as the only special-grade sorcerer who doesn't take on missions. In truth, Yuki simply does not agree with the higher-ups' methods and works toward a curse-free world in her own way. Yuki is an extremely powerful fighter, one of only 4 special-grade sorcerers, who possesses incredibly unorthodox abilities. Jujutsu headquarters knew next to nothing about Yuki's powers, despite designating her special grade, but she has shown up for her allies and showcased her abilities against some of the strongest opponents available. Yuki possesses elite combat instincts and is highly talented in jujutsu, capable of using her innate technique, barrier techniques, and domain expansion. She's also fully capable of instructing students and fostering elite talent, despite not being a teacher at Jujutsu High. Yuki introduced Aoi Todo to Jujutsu and mentored him into the exceptional Grade 1 sorcerer he's flourished into. Her training was extremely grueling, enough so to physically scar Todo for life. Todo has shown the fruits of her imparted knowledge time and time again, including learning to use simple domain from her. Yuki displayed her own strength when she effortlessly repelled Uram's icefall technique using only Garuda. Uram had overpowered a large group of sorcerers on their own, who were all saved by Yuki's intervention. Yuki used her full strength against Kenjaku and effortlessly exercised one of his special grade curses with her first attack. Her second attack sent Kenjaku flying and made him question whether he could even tame the wild beast known as Yuki Tsukumo. Master hand-to-hand combatant. Yuki is primarily a close-quarters combatant who supplements her martial arts with her innate technique to unleash devastating attacks. In her first hand-to-hand exchange with Kenjaku, she was able to use a single punch to literally break through his guard and send him flying. Yuki kept Kenjaku, an excellent taijutsu user, on the defensive throughout most of their hand-to-hand combat exchanges. Even with a broken arm and numerous other injuries, Yuki was able to pressure Kenjaku with flurries of kicks and other improvised attacks. A fully healed Yuki easily outmaneuvered Kenjaku at close range and nearly defeated him. Immense endurance. Yuki is exceptionally durable for a human being and has a high pain tolerance. She suffered a direct hit from womb perfusion that dealt her a serious head injury, as well as a completely shattered right arm. Not only was Yuki able to move despite her injuries, but she kept her innate technique active and fought Kenjaku on even terms in hand-to-hand combat. While her body quickly reached its limit due to her injuries, Yuki fought through them and continued to use her mangled body to pressure Kenjaku alongside Choso. Yuki even managed to move and activate with her body bifurcated, fighting until the very end. Great tactical intellect. While her wits are not always on display due to her straightforward attitude, Yuki is as smart as she is strong and goes into every situation with a considerable amount of thought. Using her advanced knowledge of jujutsu, Yuki vigorously analyzes her opponent's every move throughout a battle, taking mental notes of every technique used, and every countermeasure is taken. As a testament to her jujutsu-related knowledge and intuition, Yuki was able to recognize Ganesha was a cursed spirit foreign to Japan with a single glance. It only took a single activation for Yuki to figure out Kenjaku could manipulate gravity. Further observation of Kenjaku's technique allowed Yuki to figure out its effective range, as well as the time needed between activation intervals. Yuki worked with Tengen to formulate a multi-layered plan to deal with Kenjaku that was nearly successful in several facets. Although the second phase of their plan was miscalculated, and Yuki didn't escape Kenjaku's domain unharmed, she knew she needed to keep fighting through her physical trauma so Choso could ambush him in the next phase. When Kenjaku survived the ambush, Yuki quickly deduced how he managed to avoid a fatal blow. She also recognized he would have died if her technique was at full power, and that he was still cornered regardless. While Yuki can keep pace in a cerebral battle with an incredibly experienced sorcerer such as Kenjaku, even she makes mistakes. Not only did she underestimate Kenjaku in her strategy with Tengen, but when Yuki attempted to exploit the time lag in Kenjaku's ability to manipulate gravity, she assumed Star Rage could power through any resistance from cursed spirit manipulation. While this was a safe assumption, it was reckless and turned out to be incorrect which Yuki herself realized and admitted. Even in defeat, Yuki quickly improvised a maneuver to take her opponent down with her in a last-ditch effort to do what was necessary for the greater good. Cursed Energy Manipulation. Yuki is ranked Special Grade, which implies she has extraordinarily larger volumes of cursed energy than even a Grade 1 jujutsu sorcerer. She is exceptionally proficient at manipulating her cursed energy, and her skills are befitting her rank. Yuki can easily switch between her innate technique, reverse curse technique, and anti-domain techniques such as simple domain. Innate technique, Star Rage, Bonbei. Yuki's innate technique allows her to grant virtual mass to herself and her Shikigami, Garuda. The mass added to Yuki and Garuda's attacks give them devastating destructive force, capable of effortlessly exercising a special grade curse. Reverse Cursed Technique. Yuki is able to utilize Reverse Curse Technique to heal herself. She has used this during her fight in Master Tengen's realm, after she was severely damaged by the sure-hit technique of Kenjaku's Womb Profusion. Shikigami, Garuda. Yuki's Shikigami is directly connected to her innate technique. By having virtual mass added to it by Star Rage, Garuda becomes a cursed tool for Yuki to utilize in battle. Garuda can also fight and restrain Yuki's opponents independently, creating situations where they fight side by side. Anti-domain techniques. Simple domain, Kani Ryoiki. An anti-domain technique that resists a domain expansion's can't-miss attack by targeting and neutralizing its barrier. Yuki also taught Aoi Todo how to use this technique. Against Kenjaku, Yuki's simple domain was quickly stripped away by Womb Profusion. Domain expansion. Although it was not shown, Yuki is able to expand her innate domain and imbue it with her innate technique. Yuki and Tengen talked about Yuki using her domain expansion against Kenjaku while they were working out their plan. However, to avoid burning out the curse technique after the domain expansion, Tengen convinced Yuki to use a simple domain instead of her own domain.